Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's the Match Reaction Show. It's your man T, and I'm joined today by the most special of guests, my man D. What's going on, man?
I was smiling, but you saw me, man. We were just talking about it before we went live, and I'm frustrated because, anyways, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you? How are you, T?
I'm good, man. I guess you respect the point, but from expectations and what we feel like we should have done as a club, it could be a letdown. It could be 2 points, 2 points lost in this situation rather than 1 point gain.
Yeah, I think it is 2 points dropped. I mean, look, actually, it isn't. When you look at it as the game as a whole, we didn't deserve to win. I think a draw was a fair result, but that is what annoys me the most. The fact
Mm,
that we played like that, especially in the first half, it was on our hands. We started the game off so well. Wolves scored that goal, and then we're controlling the game for the first 15, 20 minutes.
mm-hmm,
And then we
mm-hmm.
just let go. We just looked tired. Southampton looked like they had the extra man just everywhere on the pitch. They just outrun us. And that's the annoying thing about it. That 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes of the game where we struggled, it cost us. And it shouldn't have done. And the reason why I'm annoyed is because we're in December, mid-December. We played many games so far this season. And
Mm-hmm.
going into this game against Southampton, I was looking for us to go and get that win. We started the game off so well and we just let go.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reason for letting go of that game? I mean, we can talk about tiredness, we can talk about all of them stuff, but Southampton played games as well. It's not Southampton just had an extra day of rest and they're coming to an away game. We're playing at home, so we can't use them excuses as a whole.
And they got
And
they, they got a
and
lot of guys out for that game. They didn't have a lot of starters in that game.
exact and all it took was 20 minutes of them having control over the game, and they scored 2 goals. And just like that, we're coming away with a point. Second half, we can talk about it. We played well in the second half, yes. But it doesn't matter if you don't. It's a 90-minute game, and we didn't play well for 90 minutes. We came out with a point, and that's what was deserved. But as I've said, that is what annoys me because we should have been better, especially in the first half where we just showed no passion. They looked like they had
Mm-hmm.
an extra play on the pitch.
Yeah. So as you saw it, and you know how we had the bright start to things on that first 15, 20 minutes, when you get that comment of letting go, what was some of the, like, were there any particular areas where you saw us kind of easing up or not doing, was there anything that stood out to you?
It was midfield. It was
Midfield.
midfield for
Hmm.
me. I talked about the extra play, but it felt like after that 20 minutes or 15 minutes of the game, Southampton just took control over the game and they were just outrunning our second balls. That's what annoys me the most. When you're not winning second balls, it clearly shows that the other team, you either have to be very unlucky or the other team just wants it more than you. And that is what annoys me because in the first half, after the first 20 minutes, it looked like Southampton wanted it more than us. And we shouldn't be in that case. We hear them talk about us moving high up the table. We have higher ambitions. We should be high, this is where we should be. Then show it on the pitch.
Hmm.
Go and win them second balls. And in that 20 minutes or 45-minute mark, we didn't show it. We didn't act like we wanted it more. Vieira definitely got into them in the second half, and I understand that, and they
Hmm.
showed a reaction. But for me, for my expectations, for the expectations of these players, because I know they want to go and achieve high this season, it's not good enough just reacting like that in the second half, but in the first half, after the 20 minutes, you just let go. It's just simply not good enough because you will not get them points, and we haven't got them points that will push us up the table and actually make us, ask question marks on whether we can finish maybe sixth or seventh or eighth or ninth. You don't
Hmm.
know, but when
You
you're
got to be
getting
able to
points
finish
like
games.
this, yeah, when you're dropping points at home against Southampton, it hurts us. But the result was a fair result. It was a draw. Both sides did deserve a point. But as I said, it shouldn't be like that, and we let go of the game.
Gotcha. So before we bring on our first guest, I want to ask you, what are some of the positives that you took from this match, though?
I think the positives were pretty much in the second half for me. I felt like I liked the substitution from Vieira. So I liked how we brought on Benteke and Edward at the same time on the pitch, and they were both playing pretty much central. I like that kind of idea. He tried to go and push for the game. Wilf in the first half, I mean, he scored a goal. Jordan Ayew, he scored a goal as well.
Right.
Exactly. And I said it on Palace Focus as well. I know you didn't join me and stand for it, but I said it. This might be the game where Jordan Ayew scores that goal because he's had some good performances. So there are positives out there, but even with saying them positives, I think as overall, if I'm a player playing under this side with the amount of talent that we got, I will still be upset with that point. I really will.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting the nature of the point, because it's certain times when you get it, it's like, okay, cool, like we'll take it. And other times it's like, nah, we definitely should have had more in this one, you know. And at that point, when we went down 2-1, I was kind of like, oh shit, like, you know, can we get this point out of here?
Well, I spoke to the Southampton fan on opposition preview, and he said that they are awful in the second half. So in the second half, I was expecting a reaction from the players themselves, and also Southampton to do the usual thing and sit off in the second half, and that did happen, and it did help us. So I was to be fair, I was a bit worried because of, as I said, after the 20-minute mark, we did slow down a bit, and I was like, are these players going to react today, or is it just going to be this kind of game? They did react in the second half, but you know, we got a point, and I don't know if we could have got more, to be fair, because did we create that many chances?
Yeah, I mean, a decent amount. You know, he had that. The one that sticks out to me is the cross that Edouard had that just didn't come off his foot right.
Yeah. You have to take them chances. You have to. We talked about Benteke. Well, I talked about, you know, Benteke. He might be good in certain areas, and Edouard should play centrally, and how he's a better finisher. But when you look at the chance that he had, I don't know what even happened with that contact. Yeah. It was poor, and I'm laughing about it now. But it takes them a couple of chances, and I think people are talking about Edouard after the game as well, talking about, you know, what's his best area? Is he better suited out wide? Is he better suited, you know, does he need Benteke up front to help him as well? To be fair, he has played better out wide so far this season, but we do need someone in front of goal who can finish it off. And Benteke has done that, to be fair, but Edouard is meant to be that guy, but I don't know. It hasn't worked out really. He did
bounce back with 2 really big goal involvements, though. He had the assist before that play, but then, you know, that shot was on target. It was a really good save by Caballero, but ended up setting up Jordan for the goal later on in the game too.
Yeah, I mean, he was involved. He was very quiet. And I think Wilf was annoyed with Edouard at some points of the game as well, because Wilf was making the passes in behind, and Edouard wasn't reading onto them.
I do remember that play. I do remember that one.
And, you know, them type of plays as a striker, you have to be aware of what's going on. Maybe he hasn't played enough games up top for him and Wilf to have that connection, because he's been playing out wide on the opposite side of Wilf. To be fair, Wilf played essentially in the City game, but majority of the times he's out wide. I'm not too sure what it is, but there's a super chat out there if you want to read it as well.
So a super chat coming in from Connor Crab. Appreciate it, man, with the donation. D, I hope you put a bet on Ayew scoring, you wizard. But since Ward's player of the month, he'll be a liability. He's been a liability, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's another area that we can talk about as well, Joe Ward. Yeah. I mean, look, he's done well so far this season. He has, but there's always a limit to his game in this system. I've said it many times. Even when he's playing well, we do need another right back. And if that right back is Nathan Ferguson, then that's great. But if it isn't, then we need to go and get one, because it's not just about this game and last game. And just in general, Wardy's style of play does not suit Vieira's system. He is not that fullback in terms of overlapping and helping Ayew, or at least say for that instance out like that. But what he does do, he's meant to be very solid defensively, and when he struggles defensively, then you haven't really got much to his game. He does look shaky, and the scary thing is Tompkins and Wardy on the same side. We both talked about both. Do we need a new centre half? Do we need a new right back? And both of these players are playing in that same side, and teams can target us, and they did target us in this game. And you know, in a way, it was scary at times, because Wardy did struggle. He did struggle. And this wasn't his first game that he struggled, but this isn't a surprise. You know, we are going to have games like this with Wardy. It's on us as a football club to go and get that new fullback.
Absolutely. So before we bring on AJ, I just want to point out this comment from Neil. He said, why is it that we have opportunities to rise at the table into the top 10? We shoot ourselves in the foot. Happens every season at some point. Is there a spell put in place or voodoo? So frustrating. really enjoying the YouTube content, really enjoys T's perspective and rational thinking. And Diyar has just grown and grown as a presenter, especially appreciate the hard work, fellas, of the Palace. Thanks, Neil. Man, appreciate it. Appreciate you being a part of things and tuning into the content and things and really liking what we're doing, man. We're trying to provide some really good content with you guys for what we hope is a really great season for the club and things. So I'm going to bring on AJ here really quickly.
Right, boys. We've mastered the art. We've mastered the art of playing crap and somehow walking away with a point. That game, right? First 15 minutes, you thought, yeah, like stadium was bouncing. Will scored the first one. We were dominating the game, and then something that was it. It just stopped from 15 minutes. It was respectfully a shit show. A better team would have smashed us. A better team would have smashed us like a good 3 or 4 goals in. Like players were losing the ball, players were losing confidence. I'm gonna say it, man. I said this on the last show. Wilf's gone stale, man. He's not been on it. He's like today, he got his goal, but let's be honest, man. The rest of the game he was rubbish. Wilf weren't on it. In fact, I like the fact that you bring up the Joel Ward debate again as well, DR, because the right back situation on that pitch scares me. It worries me because long term, first of all, Ward is very limited to his game anyway. Like we love him. We owe him a lot of respect. He's been there a long time. He's been the ultimate professional. But if we want to progress and we want to take it to that next level, sometimes you have to bite the bullet and pull the trigger. And the amount of times where that ball comes onto that right-hand side and I'm just sitting there watching and I'm just freaking out because I just feel like he's, not particularly that he's going to make a mistake, but then if the ball gets over the top of him, you know that attacker's just going to get onto him. He hasn't got the pace. He hasn't got the speed. He hasn't got the skill. That was a very frustrating game to sit in the stands and watch today, man. It was, we got the goals. We managed to get away with a point. I think by about the 70th, 8th minute, I think I was relieved just to be able to just walk away with that point, man, because it was a bit disappointing today, to be honest. It was very frustrating to sit there and watch.
And the thing is, AJ, when you're looking at games like the Everton game, we're coming off a brilliant performance, a really nice win, 3-1 against Everton at home, some good goals from Conor Gallagher. Overall, everything was just like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 pretty much. And the problem that we're having, and the reason why I'm annoyed with this point is, we can say it's good that we came out with a point from this game, or we should just stay up, or everyone has different expectations. But for this season, we haven't. One thing that we struggled with is that we haven't had consistency in terms of our wins. When you're looking at our fixture list, if you're beating Everton like that, and then you got Southampton at home, you want that same consistent performance, and it's very hard. I know it's easy for me to say here, you have that same consistent performance, and I understand that it's not going to be like that every single game, but we haven't had that this season. And what annoys me the most is that we started the game off well. You mentioned it there. You're talking about after the 15 minutes. So what caused us to change in that 15 minutes or so, after that 15 minutes, that we just struggled? What was it for you?
I don't know, man. It's a hard one. I mean, you're dropping facts there, man. It's quite funny because I remember a few weeks ago, it was like, yeah, if we beat Brighton, we can break into the top 6. If we beat this team, we can break into the top 6. And then you're starting to feel ambitious, and you're getting sucked into it. And it's like, we just don't want that European challenge enough. We don't want. Do you know what I would give to be able to go to see a season with Palace in Europe or in the Nations League or something like that? I don't know. You're right. I don't really know what happened. It's just like they just snapped and turned it on. And then obviously, granted, Ward-Prowse's free kick, it was quality. I can't take that away from him. As much as we hate him, we don't like opportunity. That was a quality free kick. And then the second goal, I'm sorry, I understand. I think Gaeta's got had a fractured in it or something like that, right?
Like a finger, yeah.
But let's be honest. I do not want to hear no Palace fan tell me about Gaeta should be dropped for Butland again. Do not talk to man about Gaeta should be dropped, because you see that man, put some goddamn respect on his name, because I'm sorry, that second goal, Butland should have saved it. I'm coming for the smoke. I don't care. Like,
what about another player from like midfield going in there, or someone just blocking the whole shot? Like the whole play before it, that one
Somebody
hit me as
closing
well.
them down.
Yeah, it was just too easy. That's what I mean. It was just too easy. They just won everything, and they just got through. And that's the annoying thing about it. We can talk about the free kick. It was a great free kick, but even that free kick, it was debatable. People are saying that it shouldn't have been a free kick. But for that second goal, yes, it was a great finish, and I get that. And you know, he managed to do something out of nothing. But someone should be there. There was no one in that central area at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he have that time to take that shot?
well, it's a weird one, you know, because he did get on the free kick. He did get a hand on it. But I just think it was just such a quality free kick. There was nothing he was going to be able to do anyway. So
you can't do it.
I think it was out of his hands. But the second one, I feel like he could have done better. I'm going to be honest. Because we saw it coming. Like, you saw it coming. You saw him running in from the midfield. It was like today, do you know what? It's like we were holding back. You see, like, let me think of an example of a performance. Like, I would even go back to like earlier on when we were playing like the likes of Leeds. Like you see, when you go into a game, right? The one thing we didn't do today is we weren't sticking our foot in. We weren't really executing it was like half-hearted challenges. We weren't really busting the gut today. It's like we just completely took our foot off the gas after that sort of early 15, 20-minute period. And we just didn't want it enough, man. We weren't putting in the tackles. We weren't going for I think it was even when Mark Gay got his first yellow in the first half. That was it was just lazy performance. It was a lazy tackle.
Do you think the players are tired because of the style of play itself? It's very demanding.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean,
that is true, but let's be honest, man. Come on, man. We're all professional footballers, man. I don't want to hear none of this. I'm
with you as well. Because like Southampton, they play the same amount of games as well, and it's not like they were just sitting back; they were trying to press us as well. So
we should have smoked him, man. We should have smoked him today, man. Let's be honest. We should have beat them today.
And looking ahead to the Watford game, what do you reckon?
Will it
that's
even
going to go
happen?
ahead,
Yeah,
will it even happen?
I reckon. Do you know what's so crazy? I reckon we turn up for Watford. You know, I reckon we're just gonna. It's just that Jekyll and Hyde typical Palace performance. Knowing us, we're gonna go there and smack them 4-0 and wonder what's going on. And then next week we're gonna draw again or lose again at home.
That's the annoying thing about it.
But think about it, if that was the case, we come back to Watford, we smack Watford. That's 7 points in 3 games.
True, but let's be honest. We should have smacked from Southampton. Southampton were there for the taking. We just should have maximized on that first goal. The atmosphere was there. The fans were there. We were on it. We were all over them. They were sweating. And then we capitulated, man. That's what we said. Something just went left. I kind of put my finger on it, but something just went left. The whole went still. It's like they just it's almost like the players just switched off or just got tired.
I mean, who knows? I mean, like I said, playing a game that close together, man, same exact lineup too, other than Butler. I mean, that's not anything easy to do, you know, especially with, like you said, the style of play that we have. You know what I mean? To be on it that entire time. And I feel like that played a part in some way, in shape or form in this game. I do say that.
Oh, T, I've got to disagree with you, man. I'm sorry, bro. It's
okay.
The only reason why is there was certain parts, right? There was like sort of in the second half specifically, there was like little 5-minute periods where you kind of had like Mitchell, or I'll tell you what, you had Mitchell, Hughes, and Gallagher, and they would just link up between the three of them, and they'll just do some beautiful passing. You're sitting there panicking, thinking, shit, they're going to lose the ball. Next thing you know, one's flicking the ball around the other, one's doing a little flip-flap, and then the next thing you know, they've just sort of dribbled their way out of danger and playing all this little pretty football. And there was like weird little intricate bits where they did that for like a 3-minute period. And then you could see the sort of crowd was getting frustrated because they weren't sending it up the pitch. And then it was just sort of going back to the lackluster passing around the back. So to sit there and sort of say, oh, they're not on it, they're not quite at it, it's a different style of play. Those players know what they're doing. I just don't think they had it today. I just don't think they wanted it enough today. Because when Vieira got them at half time, something sort of clicked a little bit towards the second half. So we know they're capable. They just need to have a little bit more. Maybe they just need to have a little bit more belief in themselves. Maybe they just need to kick up the arse, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, man. It hurt, man. It hurt today. It was frustrating. Frustrating to be there and watch.
So do we feel like that turnoff kind of came before we gave up the free kick in the first goal or after it?
I think it was coming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
because there was definitely because after the first goal went in, the place was bouncing still. It's just a case of it was about a good sort of 5-10 minutes after that first goal went in. We just sort of just switched up and started inviting the pressure.
Okay.
And then that was it. I mean, we sort of took him out outside the box. You saw Jade Ward-Prowse. He was getting his abuse. You kind of sat there and thought, nah, hopefully not. And then bang, there you go.
Yeah, because we know if he's going to hurt us from anywhere, on the offensive side, it's going to be from set pieces. And on the defensive side, it's going to be winding up Wilf. So him getting the ball in that position made everybody think, oh, man, this could be the one where he hurts us.
Oh, don't even get me started, man. Wilf, man, something needs to give. Something needs to give with him. I love the guy more than anything. He's a club goddamn icon. But the past couple of weeks, man, I don't even with the goal today, he's off it. Maybe Vieira needs to do a brave thing and maybe just put him on the bench for a couple games. I know it's a risky thing, and I know we hate the idea and it's a controversial opinion, but we've got a squad of different players that can be different types of threats now. We got Elise there, you got Ayew there, you got Edouard there, you got Benteke. We can change it up, and Vieira's proved he's willing to change it up. And I've seen him. I mean, even with earlier on in the season when he subbed Wilf off, he doesn't seem to be so reliant on Wilf, i.e., that previous managers may have been, or maybe that we as a club have been. I'm convinced he might have to just bite the bullet a little bit and just potentially bench him, bring him on as an impact sub against Watford. You know, maybe just go with a different route, try and change it up. Maybe go for almost like what he did towards the second half when he brought on Benteke and kind of went for the 4-2-2. He just went for it.
Okay. I mean, I personally, I'm keeping Wilf in there. I mean, I think this game he should have had an assist along with this goal. I mean, he comparatively to the past few games, he played considerably better. I don't know. I don't think you sit him down after this game in particular. Yeah. But before we let you go, AJ, looking ahead to Watford, if that game does happen, what do you want to see happen differently for us? It could be lineup changes or just overall structure of play. What do you think could change?
I think I mean, to be fair, hopefully Guides is back and goal. I'm sorry, but that's just me. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that he makes a change at right back, but if he persists with Ward, then you got to bring Anderson back in. I would keep the midfield the same because the midfield looked correct once again today. It looked good. That's one thing I would admit. The midfield looked good today. It looked like the Hughes in the defensive midfield with sort of a left up Czech and Gallagher. I think he keeps that midfield. Up front, yeah, I'd actually risk benching Wilf and bring him on as an impact sub. I'd actually go with.
I don't think he'll take that though. I don't think Wilf.
I don't think he would.
Lightly.
I agree. I don't think he would because that's too many changes. But if it was down to me, I would. But I don't think he will. So being realistic, if anything, I'd probably keep it the same then. Because Watford, I wouldn't particularly. I reckon you could get away with starting Edouard again because he's actually, he's been working his arse off. And then you kind of do the same and you bring on Benteke as an aerial threat later on then in the game. Do it that way around. Maybe bring on Elise, whip some balls in the box, get Benteke on the end of those headers, and then we see where we go from there.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, AJ, man. I always appreciate you coming on and
love guys, man.
Sharing your opinion and stuff, man.
I appreciate it, man. Speak to you guys soon.
Take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy, AJ.
So, looking at this game, one of the things that again we saw was no Eze in this game. When do you think we see Eze?
I think we see Eze soon. And when I mean
what
soon,
capacity? Also, what I say,
I think we see Eze soon. One thing with Eze is we don't need him in terms of. We got enough players out there to create them chances, to score them goals where we don't need him, but he will be massive for us. And he's coming off nasty injury as well. One of the worst injuries that you can get. So he's had his spells, but I don't think Vieira is going to rush him, and it does make sense as well. And next month he will get his opportunities once the AFCONs go ahead, because we're going to be limited on squad. We talk about the likes of Jordan, Ayew, and Wilf. So there's going to be some players who's going to be going, and then Eze will get his opportunities. So I think for now it does make sense. He's had minutes here and there, but he's been training with the team week in, week out for quite a while now. I reckon about a month now, it feels like anyways. So he's been there and abouts, but of course Vieira doesn't want to rush him, and I think we'll see him soon though. Within the next couple of weeks or a month, 100%.
Gotcha. Okay. So speaking of Neil's piece here, I think we can agree that wasn't a free kick though.
I don't know, everyone was saying that. So I was at the ground. Everyone was saying how that shouldn't be a free kick. I've seen the messages as well. Will Hughes couldn't believe it. Like, he was saying, you absolutely dived. But from what I remember, if that was a dive, that was a very good dive, because it slightly convinced me, to be fair. Because I thought it was a free kick, but I haven't been able to look it back yet. Exactly. So I don't have that perspective. Is that a different look? So I'm not too sure. But it did, the way he jumped on, the way he fell on the ground, I understood why the referee gave it. That doesn't excuse me to say why the referee was poor today. The referee was very poor. It's not why we lost, but I understand why the referee gave it, because it did look like a free kick the way he fell to the ground. But I haven't had the second chance to look at it, to be fair.
Watching it back on TV, it didn't look like it. It didn't look like it. But I see how it, because like when it first happened, I was kind of like, oh man, we gave one up. But like I noticed that like Nathan Redmond was doing a lot of diving during that game, and seeing some of the stuff they was getting away with, and he was in the face, like you said, ref was horrible. Some of the stuff he was giving to them, it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's just, I didn't want to just say he cost us, but when you put guys in position to score goals, like put a guy like Ward Prowse in a position just outside the box to whip in a free kick, we in trouble. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Quickly, T, before you go ahead. There's someone in a background that wants to join us. If you turn on your mic or your cam, so we can actually bring you on, that'd be great. Yeah, exactly. Because we can't bring you on right now because there's no devices connected, and you can come on to have your say. And also, if you guys want to come on and have your say, it's pinned. So click on that link, and then we'll have you on. It'll be good to hear from all kinds of perspectives, whether you agree or disagree with us.
So let's pull in Haraki and Harry here. What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, guys? You all right?
How y'all doing, man? Doing good. What's up, Rocky?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I've just literally come back from the game as well. Had to be Ward Prowse. As soon as he stood over it, I just knew it was going to go in. It was just obvious, wasn't it? He's always going to come and just give us some problems,
Yeah. What about the situation leading up to it in terms of, after the first 15, 20 minutes? I felt like we let go of the game. They just, Southampton just took control, and that's what annoyed me the most.
Yeah, I said to the fella sitting next to me, when Will scored, I thought, this is going to be like Man City last night. We're just going to smash them to pieces, because it was on the cards, wasn't it?
It was,
and then it just all went to shit. But I don't know if the boys are tired or not. I know that sounds like an excuse, but there's a lot of energy used on Sunday,
There is, but if that's the case, then why have this lineup? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you should have changed the lineup, because I was happy with the lineup. But if that's the case, of course, I don't know the players' tiredness. I'm not a medical staff, or I can't read into their minds. But if that's the case, then surely you don't start these players. They shouldn't be that tired. They must have had recovery that Vieira starting them in the first place. I don't think that shouldn't be an excuse, honestly. That shouldn't, because Southampton play with high energy as well.
But you know what? I'm telling you, I'm not. They've got real pace going forward, and when Tompkins got that yellow card, he looked like he was running at him with Wellingtons on. It was literally like he couldn't catch him. It was unreal. Yeah, they got real pace going forward, honestly. So we struggled with that tonight, big time. But they're useless. They might even go down,
That's what annoys me, Rocky. But we need to pick up these points. We can't just say they might go down or the Leeds, they're struggling as well. Leeds lost 7-0 yesterday. And they
it's
they still
painful.
managed
It's
to
painful.
They managed to get results. And
But
that's what I'm talking. If
but
we're
li-
aiming higher up, you're gone.
But listen, we beat Spurs, right? We beat Arsenal. We beat Man City. You know, we are Palace at the end of the day. It's much more of an improvement from when we was under Roy. You know, at the end of the day,
Yeah, 100%.
if this was under Roy, he would have parked the bus and took the 2-1 defeat. Now, when I'm actually watching Palace, I actually feel like we can score goals. I never used to believe that. Last season, it was like now every time we get the ball attacking, I think the ball's going to go in the back of the net. I haven't felt that for a long time.
No, that's legit. That's because I feel the same way. You know, we were in
Look how many goals we've scored this season already. We scored a lot of goals.
Yeah, we were in the 2-1 hole, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? We're down 2-1. We can still win this 3-2. Like that's literally how
exactly. He's right.
But it's all about. We went into this. We had them games, and we did pick up some nice results. But looking at our fixture list after the City game or after the Wolves game, I can't remember. It was like we got so many winnable games. Where Ken would be come Christmas time, and we haven't lived up to expectations. We can perform well against good teams. I understand that, but if you don't beat the teams that you should beat, it becomes pretty much pointless.
Of course.
It balances out, and that's what changed.
Go on. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what would differentiate us from Roy to Vieira. Like Vieira is class above Roy. I'm not saying that. I love Vieira. Even today, I'm not upset about Vieira. I'm more upset about the players. But it's just winning these. How many points?
Of course.
Yeah, that's what annoys me the most because right now we shouldn't be sitting 11th or 10th in the Premier League. We should be up there.
We should be up there. No, that's true.
Because we've got it in us, and it's like if we can do that and we're missing out on these points, that's when it's like, oh, come on, Palace.
You know,
of course.
But if you think about it, big picture. In the first season of a new manager,
exactly.
With a club like ours, historically to this point, where we are, what we're experiencing, and the types of conversation that we're having right now, is I don't think it's where anybody expected us to be in this situation at this crossroads.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was going to go down straight away.
You're 100% right. And I said, personally, for me, this season was a transition season. We're playing a complete different style of football, new players. But then again, in terms of expectations, Vieira has delivered that quickly. So, that's why expectations have changed.
But you say this is but if you think about it and you say this is a season of transition, think about what we're transitioning to then. If this is the transition season,
yeah, exactly.
But we've already seen it, Dirty.
But
we have already seen it against Man City. We've already seen it.
But you might see more, is what I'm saying. Right now, what we're not seeing is overall consistency. What we're not seeing is us beating the teams that we should beat. But if that comes, that's the transition that we can see.
But you know what? We actually don't have a starting 11 yet.
That either.
We don't have a starting 11. What I thought was really risky of him tonight, he really went attacking all out. And when he took Czech off, I thought, wow, there's going to be a gap in that midfield. I know Hughes was still on the pitch, but when Czech come off, I thought, because who came on? Was it Benteke? Or let's say, yeah, I thought that's a bit of a risky move. But you know what? He wanted to win the game, which is a positive. But I thought it was quite risky.
Yeah, I mean, they when they went to, it was like a 4-2-4, and they went with that midfield of Gallagher and Hughes.
Yeah,
they held the wing backs. The fullbacks. They held them back.
Yeah.
In kind of a back four and let Hughes and Gallagher play a little bit more up the field. I mean, I feel like we were pretty solid defensively though. Even when
we were solid defensively. We were
more attacking.
But you know what? It was. I tell you what, game was
solid defensively.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The game was I think we were. We got everything headed out. We got stuff.
We didn't give up any.
They didn't create that many opportunities, but there was some scary moments though.
Even do you know? Listen, Diyar, you're right. That passing from the back with Butland, he's dodgy, mate. Well, he's super dodgy.
But his passing from the back didn't have to do with the formation we were in. It was what
that's true.
No, it's nothing to do with formation, but like Tompkins
he was all over the place. He was all over the place.
So I don't think we were like they didn't create that many chances, but we weren't that solid defensively. I think that he was on a yellow card. Maybe that's why Vieira subbed him. But I would, even if he wasn't on a yellow card, Joachim Madison just coming on the pitch made a bit more sense. Saying that,
No, I think he's injured.
Is he injured?
Yeah, I see. He was. I think he's pulled his hamstring or something. I'm pretty sure he was limping.
I was happy with Tompkins with him starting the game. To be fair,
Of course,
because he's been on form, and people say Anderson should start. Yeah, Anderson should start ahead of him. I thought, Tompkins, he seemed like he's adapting well, but today kind of went back a bit. He didn't live up to the expectation from the Everton game for me personally, anyways.
And moving on to Edouard as well. Edouard has been just very unlucky. He's just been getting closed down very quickly. But I'm telling you, once he gets a clear view of a goal, he will score goals for us. Yeah, I've got so much faith in him. He will score goals.
For sure.
We can't just like say, he's not scoring goals. He will score goals. When he gets his clear-cut chances, he will score. He will.
If you think about it, we're talking about a guy who by his standards and by his ability had what we might say is an off game, but he still still running around, still made goals. Yeah, exactly. Literally the reason why we got 2 of our goals. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that's the type of quality he has, though.
So what was the second? Who was it? Did he assist the second goal as well? Was it a shot?
He shot
it. Okay. So he got 2 assists tonight then, Edouard.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's very. I find it. Go on.
I think he just needs more reps up front. Exactly. Like he just needs to play up front, and as he plays more games, as he gets used to it. Because there was I said it to Tia as well. There was some times where Wilf was saying to Edouard, make the running behind, and they weren't quite on the same page. Yeah. But I feel
listen, Wilf weren't on the same page, mate. He went on the same. Wilf was just throwing balls through and then blaming Edouard. I was sitting in the Arthur, especially in the second half, and everyone was going, "What are you talking about? It's your fault, Wilf."
There was that one time that I felt like it was a little bit on Edouard. Edouard was making that diagonal run in behind, and he stopped and he like slowed down, and Wolf put it in, and it could have been a great play, but he kind of like slowed down. And I think part of that, like you said, it's reps, it's playing together, it's knowing tendencies that both guys are going to be.
It seemed like Mitchell was trying to get the golden boot today or something. He was going in.
Oh,
he was trying to get that goal.
Mitchell almost had a great slide pass to Wilf. It just was a little bit too much.
Yeah, he's very unlucky.
Yeah, but he's playing really good football, man.
No, I'm very impressed with him so far. And Hughes has been great. He's been great.
Yeah, he has.
He's been great.
Rocky, we appreciate you, man. Hopefully you can join us the next time we have another show, man. But I always appreciate you coming on with us, man.
Nice one. Eagles!
Take care.
All right, brother. I'm going to bring on another back of the nest veteran here.
Hey, how you doing?
Nick, what's going on, Nick? How you doing?
It's starting to feel rough now. I'm so glad I didn't go out today.
He's got COVID.
Yeah, my project of going to every game this season is out the window now. But I'm kind of glad I didn't go out and see that. We weren't at it today. They pressed us too much, or they pressed us high. And growing up, I've always been used to Palace breaking away quickly, and we didn't seem to have that today. If we had that, perhaps if we had Anderson earlier on to give that long out ball for maybe Elise later on in the game, or Wilf to run on to, we'd have had another outlet. But I was just looking at the stats. They had way more shots than us, although we had the bulk of possession. They just seem to be a little bit more direct. We tried to play the possession base, which is good, but with no bite or no killer instinct at the end of it, it just seemed to fizzle out, didn't it? I don't know whether the 2 goals in 3.5 minutes kind of bamboozled us and shook us up, and it took us a while to recover from that.
Yeah, they definitely played a more direct style than us. They weren't playing, intricate football and, playing pretty balls. They were trying to get that ball in front of goal and get shots in. I mean, now shots versus shots on target is a whole nother thing. I mean, I know they put up a decent amount of shots. Don't really have stats right now on how many were on target, but it's one of those things where styles make fights, kind of type of thing. So
yeah, but we're nearly halfway through. We've got 20 points. Nothing to fear just yet. It's just I was wondering about the psychology. We play against Everton, who all right, they haven't been great, but they are seen as one of the kind of the big 5 or 6 teams historically, and we seem to turn it on against them more than we have done against supposedly weaker teams like
What is it, Nick?
Southampton.
What do you think it is?
Yeah,
I don't
what
know.
is that?
There's a whole psychology behind it, isn't there? Thinking, oh, this game must be easy. It's I'd hate to bring him up, but do you remember last season when Roy would say, "Oh, well, it's Man City, we've got no chance, so we're just going to sit behind the ball." It's kind of tied in with that in a little way. It's the expectation of the other team. When really and truthfully, I know it's not all about you, but home games we should be imposing ourselves on other teams and letting other teams worry about how they're going to cope with us rather than the other way around. I don't know.
But in terms of shots, so Southampton had 15 shots. We had total 9 shots. We had more shots on target.
More shots on
than
target.
them. Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
But saying that, there wasn't. I don't know. Like we've got 2 with the Wilf one and Edward, and then 4. I can't remember the 4 other shots on target. Like it wasn't anything that was like neat. Like I don't know. We didn't really. Wasn't that dangerous.
The Edward and then the Edward kick that ended up in the IU goal was.
That might have been like so.
That was on target.
Yeah, in them 2 goals, it might have been like 3 shots on target. So yeah, we had. When you look at the broader picture, it wasn't that much. To be fair,
I was surprised. I thought there'd be more changes in the lineup. I know you've kind of said, "Oh, don't change the winning formula," and apart from the goalie because he got his injured fingers, which is why he went to the touchline towards the end of the game at Everton. I was wondering what was doing. I thought he was just changing his glove, but evidently there must have been an injury there that we didn't know about on the day. We've got another game. Possibly. I mean, Watford got called off tonight. I feel sorry for those. Well, I don't feel sorry for those Watford fans. I do and I don't. You know what it is. Just in a bad way. So it's looking likely that Watford is going to be off on Saturday. Now, obviously, we didn't know that before the lineups were released. Do you think Vieira could have made a mistake by not resting anybody for what could be a tough away game on Saturday or not?
Well, I think part of it. I think he in this situation had a plan to give Tompkins the start, maybe bring Anderson on and get him some minutes before starting Anderson on Saturday. So I think that was a calculated move there. Me and Diyar were talking a little bit earlier, possibly maybe Saturdays when we see more of Eze in the lineup. Could see maybe a right back change with Ward maybe getting swapped
even
out
if
for
that
Klein.
Even if that change happens, is it really like an improvement? Is it that significant improvement with Klein and Wildy? The only improvement that I see is maybe Nathan Ferguson getting in there. And apart from that, and even if Nathan Ferguson was magically fit enough, exactly, even if he was magically fit enough for the Watford game, what do you expect from him? So this right back situation is not just going to get solved with Nathan Ferguson in a way because he hasn't played football for nearly 2 years. We haven't seen Nathan Ferguson play for Palace, and when have we signed him? Feels like years ago. So
we were doing love sport, man. That's how long ago it was.
So exactly. So even with Nathan Ferguson, we're going to be expecting too much from him too quick. So this right back situation could be with us for the whole season, even if Nathan Ferguson is there, because Nathan Ferguson needs to get used to playing football. And then afterwards, then we will see how much his game we haven't seen his game to see whether what he can do in Vieira's system, let alone what he can just do on a football pitch. So it's very hard. It's a hard situation for Ferguson. Hopefully, when he does come, we don't put too much expectations on him.
So, do you not feel like there is any difference at all whether you play either one of them at right back for us?
Who, Klein or Wardy? Well, Klein is meant to be better going forward. I remember in the Hodgson days, Kleiny was, that player when we talk about going forward, he would be that guy. But in the Man United game, he did struggle. Of course, that was his first game. That's his only game. That was the only game.
So crazy.
Yeah, that was the only game. So it depends on what Patrick Vieira wants. Clearly, Vieira hasn't. I think with the right-hand side, Vieira just happy with us turning to back three with Wardy or the right back, whoever it is, with Klein there alongside the 2 centre halves when we're attacking. Because I don't think Vieira trusts Klein or Wardy enough for them to push forward, to be fair. I really don't think that.
And because I didn't know if it was possibly the fact that he wasn't pushing that much forward because it was against United and compared to
No,
Watford,
but it's
maybe
happened
he
many
does.
times. I've noticed it even at Celos, like even at home games early on in the season. Just in general, we tend to go to like a back three when we're pushing forwards, and the fullback sometimes Woody does push forwards. Maybe there has been games where he has pushed forward, but I've noticed that a lot where the right back always stays with the centre halves. But today, to be fair, Woody did push forward at times, so it's one of the things where it's not consistent. It's not consistent. It happens now and then, but majority of the times the right back just stays back.
Just two things. I just noticed in the chat that Kane said, imagine if Watford had to play their academy team. Well, you can guarantee Palace would lose.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
look. Yeah,
just
exactly.
thinking about our front three, boys. We've got Edward, we've got Ayew, Zaha, all three quality players, all can do slightly different things. Are you not surprised to see them being a bit more fluid in where they're playing, with Ayew maybe drifting into the centre just for 10 minutes, 5 minutes at a time, with Wilf swapping over to the other side or dropping into the centre, or do you think that would overcomplicate things for them?
I feel like as players they could do it, especially since we have 3 front guys that can all play, like can drift into that middle, play that middle position. I think it just boils down to what Patrick Vieira wants from them. And also what we talked about earlier, minutes and reps together. Maybe that's something that will come naturally as they've played together more often.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much your system. And saying that, it's not like Jordan Ayew just sticks to the right hand. He does.
No.
Yeah, you can come
That's
in
the point where Wilf came inside.
Yeah, Wilf came inside as well. So it does change a bit. But interesting enough, we saw it earlier on in the season where Wilf was swapping sides with Ayew. I didn't see that in this game at all. I've seen it in a few games, but that's one area maybe that when we're struggling to create chances and to break through, maybe do that, cause them that headache and make them think about the actions, because it gets repetitive when you know exactly what the side is going to do and who's on what side. But if you put maybe Wolf to the right-hand side and Ayew on the left-hand side for like maybe 5 minutes, it might give them something to think about. Maybe the midfielders have to shift over to the left-hand side. Maybe there's more opportunities on the side that Wolf's on. There's a couple of things like that you want to do to make your position
same
think.
side for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Put everyone on the left-hand side. Forget about Brentford. Put the whole team.
But I mean, that's part of that's part of
year.
what great attacking teams do. They make those type of adjustments in games if it gets stale. You're gonna start seeing more movement and exchanging and things. So, I mean, I don't think it's something that's out of the question for it.
Yeah. 100%.
All right,
well,
so
I'm gonna go to sleep now because I'm feeling rough.
All right, big dog, take it easy. Man.
Nice to see you again, and whether we see you Saturday or not is a moot point. But yeah, have a good one.
All right, man.
And if I don't see you lot Saturday, have a good Christmas, yeah, because this is the last one before then if it's called off, isn't it?
Have a great Christmas as well, Nick.
Take it easy, man.
Take
Happy
care.
holidays. So D, I don't want to keep you too long or anybody else that's in here, man. I know it's late over where you guys are, but so let's think about, or let's have a mind frame of yes, Watford happens on Saturday. Who's out there for you against Watford?
I wouldn't do that many changes to the lineup. If Vicente is ready, I'll put Vicente back in there. And yeah, it's not the lineup, it's not the formation, it's not the tactics. It's just on the players. If they are fit enough, it's hard for me to say I would bring in this player ahead of Hughes. If Hughes is fit enough, Will Hughes should start. If Gallagher is fit enough, Gallagher should start. But after the 20 minutes today, I don't know if they're fit enough. I just don't. I don't have them resources. I'm not at the training ground for me to say this player. I would keep the same lineup. Because in theory, that lineup is, and we saw it in the second half, that lineup does work. And we saw it against Everton as well.
It's undefeated.
But exactly. But if they've got the legs, then play that lineup. If they haven't, then don't force it. Because we saw it. When you force it, it will cost you games. Even though we had a good second half, that first half did cost us. That's where they scored them 2 goals. So it all depends on, if these players can play. Simple as that. It's not a long break from Sunday to Wednesday, so from Wednesday to Saturday. So so the players and the staff need to evaluate and say, do we have enough recovery sessions? Should we change it up? But if there were going to be changes in midfield, Eze should maybe start. I think that would be interesting because he's had a nice little break as
Would
well.
you go Eze for Kouyaté?
It depends. It depends on who's not fit. Between Gallagher and Will, like it depends on who's not fit. But I'll bring Eze for one of them two. I'm not too sure if it's for Kouyaté. But that's one change I'll make. Maybe Joachim Andersen for Tompkins. Actually, I'll go with that based on today's performance. I think Rocky said that Tompkins did pick up an injury. I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice it either. I mean,
I didn't notice
it could have
that.
It could have been after that long.
But even if he didn't pick up an injury, I wanted him to start this game because he has deserved it. He has played well. He came off a good game against Everton, scored a goal, and was very solid defensively. But today, it didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same from what we saw in the last game from Tompkins. So I'll rather bring Joachim Andersen there, who can ping out them passes, and he's got a relationship with Mark Way as well. They played enough games together, so maybe them changes itself. But there's so many ifs and buts and all of them words because it all depends on the energy levels of the players.
Right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think a big part of who we see out there is going to be a lot depending on form, but also depending on health and how many minutes they played and things. I mean, if we're being completely honest, Conor Gallagher struggled in this match, and to say that he didn't would be a lie compared to what we've seen from him in prior matches. He had some struggles.
They did do a good job on him though. They did. I saw that Southampton did target Conor Gallagher, and it'll be stupid not to after coming off that performance. So they did do a good job on him. But with Gallagher, if he is fit enough, he starts for me.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If he's fit, play him. I mean,
honestly. But if he's not, it doesn't make any sense to the system. Forget about the player. You need high energy. You do need that in this system because you're going to be pressing. You're going to be controlling the game. You can't have any weak legs. And if you have, 3 or 4 weak legs, then the whole dynamic of the team changes because you got half a team that can run, half a team that can't. And then the style, the system, it just breaks down. So you need everyone there to have them fresh legs. And if 1 or 2 people let you down, and if there are 1 or 2 people in midfield, then on Saturday we'll be coming on here talking about we got our run in midfield and we struggled there. So it's not just a case of, if half the squad is fit and half ain't. No, everyone needs to be fit. Every single player on that pitch, because I don't want to come on here on Saturday and say we got outrun in this or that area because we look tired once again. We can't look tired in any more games. It showed today that we just can't afford that.
Absolutely. I mean, and especially because with a kid like Conor, he's always going to give you everything he's got, but 100% of a player that's only 75% there or 75% capable isn't the same.
Yeah, you have to be realistic.
No matter how hard he works, if he's not fully there, it doesn't matter. We need to have guys that are being able to fire on all cylinders while they're on the pitch, point blank.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think honestly, if with who we put out there for this match, I think the only changes I would make would be in goal if Vicente is ready, and then I would bring Anderson in because I think it like you said, he's played so well for us, and if he's healthy, he should play. So if you had to make a prediction for that one, what would it be?
I think we'll go and win. I said today, to be fair, we'll go and win. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday on Palace Focus, everyone was putting down 3-0, 2-0. We were way too overconfident, and I think it went down onto the players as well, based on our first half performance. But I think we will beat them. It just depends on who they've really got fit. Because they had to cancel their game in the last 2 hours. So it does seem like there was a COVID break in their camp, and if they don't have enough players, then the game will go ahead. But then I think going there, we faced Watford away this season, and I was there in the League Cup, and we actually dominated them. And I guess it was under Ranieri, but we dominated them, and we lost in the last second of the game or the last few minutes of the game because of that one chance. So I'm confident. We already had a good game against them in pre-season. We faced them in a competitive game and done well despite the result. So we got enough to go and beat them. 2-1, 2-0. I think we can score 2 goals easy.
Yeah, I'm in that. I'm leaning towards 2-1 myself on that one. Yeah, I'm leaning towards 2-1 myself.
We do need to beat them if it does go ahead, though. We
Absolutely.
desperately
I mean,
do.
we need that. We need that type of win because getting that win, getting 7-3, coming off of losing 3 in a row to going getting 7 points in 3 games. That's a huge building block towards better. Like you said, we need more wins. We need to be winning more games and going because it's Watford, and then we got is it Norwich?
No. We got Tottenham. We got
Tottenham, Norwich.
Yeah, with that Tottenham, then we got Norwich,
Okay.
and then we got West Ham as well. So, and
It's gonna be
Norwich,
important for
I'm
us.
telling you
It's
now,
gonna be important for us coming
Norwich,
that Tottenham game off of a win.
Norwich, exactly. Norwich scare me. Like people might laugh at me, but Norwich do. If you have watched them under Dean Smith, they do look like a better side. They do look like they can actually play football. So I don't think it's going to be an easy ride just going out to Norwich in itself as well.
Honestly, for me at this point, any team that we play that we should beat scares me.
Exactly.
Because those are the exact matches, the exact teams that we're not winning against.
Picking up points, exactly.
We're not picking up 3 points from. So at this point, the Norwiches, the Southamptons, the Newcastles, any of those are the teams that worry me because of the fact that those are the teams those are the matches that we're not winning.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me today as my special guest, D. You know, you're welcome anytime on here, man. I always appreciate your perspective and your point of view and how you set things straight for real, man. So I appreciate you joining me, man.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on, man. Of course, Patrick should be back for Saturday if the game does go ahead. So it'll be you two back in your normal role. But thanks to everyone who tunes in as well, though. Thanks to everyone who tunes in.
We got Patrick going, but his nephew's still in here trolling. His nephew might be still in here trolling. Yeah,
that's his nephew.
In here trolling.
I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm not an Arsenal fan giving it all. I'm not having this.
Yes.
We need to end the live show, but I will come back here, Mikey. I will come back here on Saturday when you are saying Vieira out again. No, not Vieira. I mean Arteta out again. They beat West Ham 2-0. Well done. You done your thing. But only like a couple games ago, you're talking about Arteta out. I bet everyone. Don't start me on Arsenal, man. Don't start me on Arsenal. Me and Patrick actually talk about his Arsenal relatives, and one of them is here. And I understand it now because I got Arsenal boys like that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, shout out to everybody that joined us, man. Shout out to Connor for the donation today. Thank you to everybody that joined us, from Colin to Zach to Luke to Mike T, man, Essex Eagle, Neil, Liam, Zach, Red, everybody. Thank you for joining us, man. Shout out to Nick for joining us. Shout out to AJ for hopping in with us as well. But we'll peep you all after the next match, hopefully on Saturday, but we'll see. But until then, up the Palace.